back with another episode of Real Life Movie Talk. It is your boy Chris.
Blockbuster Ben.
John.
Boom.
Boom.
What's up, boys?
Hey, man.
We're here.
Yeah.
What's up?
And we're talking about dedication. Me and John are itching right now. Trigger fingers itching.
If you could pan the camera over to the right next to you right now.
Yeah.
My screen is continuing to retry. I'm actually going to get the remote and my controller at some point and continue to retry to get into Warzone. Because I released a new map today, and I need to play. Unfortunately, we're not going to do the podcast today.
Yeah.
I need a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm a nerd. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
Warzone, we've been playing the same thing for 2 years. They brought a new map out today.
Yeah.
And I'd be darned if I ain't going to play tonight.
Yeah, everybody's excited for it. Yeah. So
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Your skill set depends a lot on your knowledge of the map layout.
that's part of it. Like,
Oh, for sure.
game awareness and map knowledge definitely play into it. Yeah.
Your ability to shoot is one thing, but to position yourself
Yeah,
is
so
like
know where
anything.
you're exposed and where you're not.
Not just know where you're exposed, but like you in certain scenarios, like when you're rushing or say you're chasing somebody, you can angle them because you know. Look, there's only 3 ways they're either going to get out of this building, or if the gas is because the way the game works is you drop into a huge map. And every 3 minutes, the circle will get smaller. The area that you're allowed to be in, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So like,
It's like Fortnite.
you get exactly.
Yes.
Like it's any PUBG kind of style game. You know, it's an open world that gets smaller, and you really want to try to position yourself, or else you get stuck.
Sure.
Being the people that are coming out of the game,
And everybody's sitting in the middle waiting.
Yeah, exactly. They're holding you just like you would well, I imagine that they would in war. You know, if you're trying to push, a certain force back, you can flank them. And that's kind of what you're doing in the game.
It's really cool though, man, because we've been playing on the same map, like I said, for like 2 years. And this new map is the newest Call of Duty is set in World War II, and this map is set in there with like the design, all the vehicles, everything. And it's this big island where there's a huge peak at the top in the middle of the map, and everything else you can kind of look down on. I think that's the big center point in the map. And
Planes now,
yeah, it looks wild.
all new weapons.
That's why it's not loading.
What?
Just too many things.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I will sit here all night until it turns on.
Yeah,
And John's already got his fingers going. Just watch for that.
yeah. But Chris brought snacks.
So honestly, I went to Panera Bread. I wanted to get the Asiago bagel. I've been craving it for a while, so I was like, you know what, that would be a good thing. They didn't have it.
Nailed it.
John gave me what is the best cookie I've ever had in my life. It's called
Everything, but the kitchen sink.
It's called the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
I don't know.
kitchen sink.
It's from there?
It's about this big.
It's
Whoa.
so good.
It's got nuts, chocolate, peanut butter. Then they do like a sea salt on top of it.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes I would say this: I like it better heated up, obviously with a little bit of milk. But if you don't heat it up, and you see an area that's super, like a lot of salt, unless you're a big salt guy, I take a little bit of that salt off there. But the salt with the sweet,
Yeah, it's so good.
1,260 calories of cookie.
One cookie? Oh my god!
And I'll eat 2 of those bad boys in one sitting. I swear to God,
Holy
no problem.
hell.
But dude, I'm telling you, cut it and you cook it and cut it like a pizza. A little glass of milk.
So wait, how big? It's like, I mean, we're talking.
It's
Oh, I don't hear any pieces.
Oh,
probably
wow.
He's a stingy
five.
bitch.
Wow.
Okay. Dang.
But so
It's very good.
Cookies, like, it's tough to have a favorite because there's so many. I took a couple bites and I was like, Jesus. So that was gonna be what else I brought. I was like, you know what? I'll just get the cookies. They don't have those either. So they have a flatbread, which I've had before, but this is new. They just added sausage and pepperoni. So we're gonna do a quick impromptu pizza review.
Did you
Good.
already eat?
It's
No,
a
I
couple
haven't
bites.
tried any yet.
Yeah. It's what I would expect from
Yeah.
Panera Bread. I mean, this is like quick lunch. You split a little half pizza with somebody, and
Oh, I eat that.
yeah, it was good.
That's not bad.
I like the sausage. I also love crisp. So like the fact that like I can get a nice little crunch out of this flatbread, like I would want.
Yeah,
It's fine.
and it's been sitting for a little bit. But
Yeah.
It kind of excites me for my snack that I'm gonna have next week
Oh, okay.
or 2 weeks, whatever it is.
The next episode. Is it donuts?
Oh,
Hey, hit that post. Go tell us what your favorite donut is.
that's running good.
It's a really good one. I didn't know that was coming today, so when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, John, you bastard!" Such a tough one, but I think ultimately I got to go Boston cream. But tough
for me.
Yeah, I mean there's
I like original glaze, man, from Krispy Kreme. If I could have any donut, period, it's that. Now I'll tell you a close second that isn't on there, but it's similar to a Boston cream. When Dunkin' Donuts runs that peanut butter one. That's peanut butter stuffed one. That they make I think it's like a Reese's one.
I think it's during Valentine's Day, right?
Oh my God.
Brittany
Christopher swears by this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that because you can't get that all year, that one's so good. I don't know how many calories that is, but I could eat probably 4
or
of those.
500.
Yeah.
I think they're like they always have the
A million.
No, I always say that because like when you go there, like next to the donut names, they have what each donut has as far as calories, and I think they vary between like 280 and 500. So, not like not one of them cookies.
Right. I think my favorite's the glaze with the chocolate ring,
Yeah.
like a regular donut.
Chocolate glaze?
Yeah.
No, like a
Not
regular donut with chocolate frosting,
on
right?
top. Yeah.
Isn't that chocolate glaze?
I have no idea what it's called. Number 2. That's
Is that a
what
chocolate
it
glaze? Oh, I'm hearing chocolate cake. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
We also had to do
I'm a fat boy.
Yeah.
We also had to do the regular cheese because it's a piece of review importantly runs this industry. So shout out to you, guy.
Damn, I want to plug what I'm doing next week. I won't.
Okay, keep them on edge.
You got a review?
What?
A score for this?
Oh,
Ooh.
I like the regular better.
that's really unfair for me to give it right now. That's
Yeah.
cold.
Well, score's your score.
It's not.
I don't hate it.
I'm gonna go 6-8.
Ooh, I was gonna go 6-2.
I was 6-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6-8
6-1.
on it because I've had it warm.
Not terrible. Yeah,
I've had it warm and it's much better than I just ate.
I just need more sauce.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I got like 2 inches of crust, 2-3 inches of crust. I don't need that. Like, come on, sauce this bad boy up.
They were ready to go home.
I bet
it was
they were.
only 6 o'clock. They were cleaning. I was like, y'all closer? They're like, yeah, we changed our hours. 8 o'clock.
So they still had 2 to go.
Right.
Jesus.
That's okay. They were out of everything, so they're probably out of everything.
Jen was just telling me last night that I guess Kim went to the mall yesterday at 7 and they were closed. Yesterday, Columbia Mall.
Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Hours really shortened up.
Wow.
Mainly over COVID.
Yeah.
But like, cause you couldn't even go to the malls a while ago.
Right.
But now they've kind of like phased it back in, but the hours definitely changed.
When were we going to the movies when we were there? Because I was telling her, I was like, that makes no sense because I feel like we've gone to the movies at 6:30 and come out of there a couple times and people were at the mall still. That was weekdays for sure.
Definitely
because we were
weekdays.
working.
Movies are also separate, so you're not going to see the.
No, I mean when we came out of there was definitely people in that parking garage. That
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Definitely Monday and
Yeah.
Tuesday though. They have
Yeah.
shorter hours. I do
Okay.
know that.
Okay.
Have you guys been watching anything outside of these 2 movies that we're about to review?
My buddy Alan recommended this anime, Attack on Titan.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's a wild concept. Like they could probably make a movie out of it. It would take a lot of special effects, but essentially, there's these titans. They're just like really large humans. They're very powerful. They're like giants, and they all live in these cities surrounded by walls. And every once in a while, a titan tries to get in, and then when they get in, they just like destroy the city. So
Okay.
Rude Titans.
try to figure out how to fight them.
Yeah.
Sounds like a normal Titan. The Hawkeye show.
Oh yeah, I've been watching that too.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first episode so far.
And I've been continuing Yellowstone. God damn Yellowstone.
I'm a couple behind on that
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
'cause
that's the
Courtney-
one you have to watch, Courtney.
because Courtney's gone. Yeah. Sonny.
no.
Sonny's back, dude.
I haven't started that
The
yet.
first 2 episodes were so funny.
Yeah. Oh yes.
The first episode's called 2020, A Year in Review. So the plot is really funny how you'll see what they do with their characters and how they were involved in things that happened over the last year and a half, 2 years.
Sure.
Is it flashbacks to other seasons?
No,
So
it's.
maybe I'll watch it right now.
I mean, I guess
That
you
makes sense to
should.
me.
To catch up.
Like that, you could watch that
That's what I
episode
mean.
because you know the characters. But then, like the second episode is called "The Gang Makes Lethal Weapon 7."
Oh yes.
So it's the plot is, if you don't know, Hulu, iTunes, all these like digital media platforms, they removed like 4 or 5 episodes of Sunny from the streaming services. You literally can't get them.
Right.
And 2 of them are The Gang Makes Lethal Weapon 5, The Gang Makes Lethal Weapon 6. Or maybe it's not called The Gang Makes Lethal Weapon 5, but they make Lethal Weapon 5 in it, and then I know the other one's called The Gang Makes Lethal Weapon 6. But there's the whole bit is they do Riggs and Murtaugh, right? And Mac does Murtaugh in blackface with like a normal voice. He just talks normal. Dennis does Murtaugh as a normal person but he does like a black voice.
So white guy with black voice?
He tries to do Danny Glover's voice.
And they switch halfway through the movie. But the whole argument in the episode, in that first time they do it, is like, which was the more tasteful way to do it? Which is even like...
That's hilarious.
But they pulled those episodes due to insensitivity. So the fact that they made this
something was funny.
So they made this new episode, and the whole plot point is that the local library pulls the copies of the movies from the shelf, so you can't watch them anymore. So they try to make the next installment being PC. It's really funny, man. So I love the first two, and the two. I think there are two more coming out tonight.
Awesome.
And the next day on Hulu, so you can see them on Hulu.
Where'd you guys take a Hawkeye?
First episode I thought was entertaining enough.
I like it.
I haven't kept up with it yet.
Have you caught up? Don't like it.
Really?
You on 3?
I think they're both terrible actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I like Haley Steinfeld,
This
man.
is terrible.
Jeremy, right?
It doesn't make her character makes zero sense to me.
Okay.
In 1 second she's like a badass fighter and does other stuff. The other second she's falling through a ceiling. Like she doesn't make any sense to me.
I will say, I thought it was his daughter. Before it started, I thought it was going to be his daughter.
I'm glad it isn't.
And it's not.
I'm glad it's not.
She's just not a good actor, and his character is boring as hell.
Okay.
Like they're not even superheroes to me. This is a karate movie, and they both suck at karate.
Okay. All right.
And can't act.
Well,
But I'll watch them all.
I'm going to keep with it.
There's only like 3 more.
Because it's Marvel. You know what I mean?
We're
There's
Marvel
got to be
fans,
somewhere, somehow this intertwines with some other stuff, and I'll be like, oh, cool. But other than that, I wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
That's my own.
It's already started to intertwine.
Has it? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm excited. All right.
You don't know how.
Yeah. You guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
So what
I'm
we're
ready.
doing is, we kind of said it a little bit last week. We're basically going to do a movie combat. It's Full Metal Jacket versus Apocalypse Now. 2 movies that are considered classic Vietnam War movies.
Right.
So we'll have the post up with the verses. Which one do you guys like better? So we're going to do basically almost a full review of each one, just because that's all we have on the docket tonight is these 2 movies.
Which is a lot.
And it was told to us because we did the draft with 4 of us, and neither of these movies were picked.
Nope, John picked Full Metal Jacket.
John's an idiot.
Who won?
John.
Sometimes idiots win.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
Rudy.
Who's our president?
So,
Our last
2. Who are our last 2 presidents?
so
3 out of the last 4.
first up is Full Metal Jacket. Okay, from 1987.
It was a great year.
Was that a year born?
Yeah.
Okay. Hour and 56 minutes. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, who is everybody. I feel like everybody knows who he is, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, Clockwork Orange, which is another one that people love, and I
Never saw it.
Yeah, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, which was his last movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. That's what the movie's called. It's from the 40s. My cousin showed it to me when I was in high school. I think I was in high school, and it's one of those other ones that were like film people will say it's like,
The artsy crowd.
and I'm like, I was way too young to even try to understand what they were going for, So, and my cousin is busting a gut laughing at it because they're kind of like making fun, but I was just like, all right. Yeah. But the plot of the movie, simply put, it follows a U.S. Marine from the start of boot camp through his time into the Vietnam War. I think towards the end of the war. That's what I got from it. It was like coming to the end of it.
Okay.
That's how I took it. I don't think it ever gave a year, but I think it was towards the end of the war. Stars Matthew Modine as Private Joker, Arlie Ermey as Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, Vincent D'Onofrio as Private Pyle, and then a bunch of other people you may recognize. But those are like the 3 main guys.
I loved him on Law and Order.
D'Onofrio?
Yeah.
And Daredevil.
Yeah.
As Kingpin.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal how good he was.
He's got some good range.
Yeah.
He plays a good crate. I mean, in SVU.
He's a cop on that, right?
Yeah, he's a detective, but like he's off a little bit. Like
he was
not
in
quite
this?
like in Hannibal, but sort of, yeah. But like in between the two, like he puts himself in the mind of the crazy because he's like there's something wrong with him. And you find it out as he goes on. Yeah, he does a phenomenal job in that series.
Was the new movie Chips, the remake
with Dak Shepard?
Yeah, he's
the Hispanic guy.
Yeah, he's the protagonist in that.
Oh, I forgot that.
Awesome.
I forgot that. I've seen that recently, and I forgot he was in that.
He's like, I'm law, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's yelling. I'm like, yes.
So I was teased a little bit before the start of this. So I need to know what you guys thought of the movie.
What?
I was told one of you hated this one and one of you loved this
Full
one.
Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
I love this movie.
So
He does not. That kind of narrows it down. Like only steers and queers come from Texas.
oh man,
John and
okay.
I talked a
Damn
little
sure ain't a
bit.
steer.
So John and I talked before about kind of where we were a little bit with it, and this is a movie combat. So Ben's opinion is really going to decide who wins the movie combat, probably. Or I could just give it a 0 and round my score down, and then boom. Nah, I'm just joking. I'll be honest.
Still have that option.
Oh, where's the score sheet, by the way? Do you have a score sheet somewhere?
I got 110 and 1-0. I'm not losing unless John does it. Then we're gonna tie.
All right, so Jonathan, you go first. Like,
Score it?
You loved it. What? Tell us about. Not spoiled yet, but like general thoughts. What?
I love how it opens. It opens right away, right in boot camp. They're all getting grilled right away by a former drill instructor.
Real.
Yeah, an actual who becomes an actor. You get a good group of characters. I like that there isn't really. Somebody said that there's some downtime in it. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of downtime. The sequencing between each action scene, there isn't a whole lot. They build the characters with some action scenes. I like the comedy in it. I like the little bit of war that you did. I mean, you do get a little bit, and you do get some perspective, some actual military perspective as to how things were then. Like when they get, when he actually gets to Vietnam, and you know he meets that major or whatever when they take him to the little area where the bodies are, the civilians, like, which is kind of cool between the two movies. The similarities there, but. I love the movie, man. I like all the characters in it. It's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster because you laugh, and then there's some times where you're like, "Damn!" But I liked it.
You?
I like the dialogue.
Okay.
Like the Joker's got some pretty funny scenes, but he doesn't try to be funny, which is cool. Obviously, it hits you right in the mouth right away.
Oh yeah.
Like the drill sergeant. The drill sergeant's got some good words of motivation to say when he starts off, and I kind of like that because it puts you right in it, and your brain gets to understand a little bit about what was happening in that time period.
I know for a fact that that's how my uncle went through boot camp.
Yeah. It was real.
It ain't like that now.
No, you could not get away with the stuff that he did.
Not even close.
And so I read that originally he was brought on just to be a consultant for the movie, but then wanted to play the part so bad that he went out for it and got it. And a lot of his dialogue was.
Well, he didn't. I don't think that anything that's written.
Quite
a bit of that is not written.
I saw that some of the lines were straight out of the book that it's based on, but I think a lot of it was actually just him going off the cuff. And
I mean, like especially like the cadence when they're jogging and stuff. You can,
I love the
You know, you can tell. I mean, I'm there's a ton of actors out there, but just the like his I don't know. It just as an actor as he's going like I mean, the way he pronounces each sound and syllable in there, like he did that.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Which is cool, which is really neat, but it's also carry on.
No, I just like overall. I think I said this last week when we were kind of talking about war movies and stuff, and people questioned the fact that I don't really care for this movie because when I saw it in high school, I absolutely loved it, and I don't know if that was because I was told that this is you know
predisposed to it.
So then when I saw it again within the last few years as an adult, I was like, I don't like this at all. Like I fucking hated it, and not to say because the first 45 minutes.
Drink your drink.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The first 45 minutes are amazing. Yeah. It's after that it loses me. And that's, like, I really hated it the last time I saw it, but I didn't hate it as much. Like, I was able to take other things away from it, but I still don't like the way it just, the whole tone shifted, and I just was like...
Don't you think it had to, though? It couldn't be all boot camp.
No, I know. That's a fair point, and that's something I'm going to get to.
Are we talking dislikes now?
No, we were just kind of overall
general
thoughts and kind of likes or whatever. These will be spoilered by the.
It's 100 years old.
It's like 87. It's older than I am.
87 and 79. It's spoilers all the way through, but you just I don't want to hear any shit about. Wait a minute, because you hadn't seen it, right? You hadn't seen either one, right?
You'd be drunk.
No, I haven't seen either one.
You've never seen Full Metal Jacket before this?
I had, but I only saw I don't remember any of the second half of it.
Yeah.
I get the quotes, and I remember the scene where Homeboy goes psycho.
Yeah.
So I must have watched it when I was too young.
Yeah.
So
yes, I agree. It definitely had to go a different direction once that boot camp scene ends. But that was so powerful, and then that whole that final climax at the end of boot camp, and then it goes, and they're kind of like, I just felt like they
didn't address it at all. I went right to the next thing.
They did make a big jump, right? But I don't know how you address that anyway. You're kind of just like, well, shit.
They're going the next day. That's the Marine Corps. There is no.
Yeah.
I think that's the point. I think that's what you're missing there. They graduated. The next day they leave. They're
Yeah. No, that's not my issue.
No. I'm talking about you just now.
Yeah.
I didn't miss anything.
You just said
I was trying
they
to
don't
help
address
him
it.
for the
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Chris. But that's not. So that my real issue is more so that I felt like they made all these soldiers out to be like bad people, and I want to say a lot of them didn't even want to be there in the first
That
place.
was going to be one of my big gripes.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said that last week too to Shane or one of you guys. I think now Private Joker when he shows up, I'm here to kill, sir. Blah blah blah. And,
Peace sign.
and then you kind of see his progression, how he changes a little bit, and actually becomes like.
Which ones did they make out to be bad people?
The whole soldiers. They made
Like
it
all
seem
of
like
them.
Americans shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Well, that was every American's point of view then. That we shouldn't have been there in the first place.
But I got
I
uncles
would
that
say
served.
everyone, yeah.
A lot of Americans during that time period, it was an unwinnable war. We didn't want to be in Vietnam to begin with.
But so I got an uncle that served 101st Airborne.
Yeah.
He got shot. He came home and people spit on him and threw stuff at him.
It was a very unpopular war.
So,
literally,
but still,
literally the
still,
point of that it was of those. Remember when he? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying, but still, that always gave me a bad taste because it's not like they raised their hand. They were part of the army. Like if we went to war right now, Tucker would have to go.
I get that.
So it just pissed me off that Americans treated soldiers coming home like that.
Well, I think that's part of the point of the movie. Like that's why they show Joker's life when he gets to the next town and he writes a story about him going to the village during war or whatever, and his CO says, where's the body? How come you didn't see the body? Let's put something in there. Americans need to hear this. It's a very unpopular war. The whole point of that movie was to describe how unpopular the war was. That's why they take the route of the writer instead of it being like we were soldiers or something like that.
This movie made it feel way more forced, in my opinion. We're going to do another movie who does the same job of depicting it, but differently. In my opinion.
The next one. No, I mean, like the guy, Animal Mother, that soldier, they made him just like this guy, I'm going to kill everyone kind of guy.
I think he's the only guy that's like that in the movie.
No, well, the guy in the chopper, too, they
That-
really...
Okay, you're right. Those two, and he's my favorite character in this.
I just...
He is my favorite line in the movie.
Yeah. Overall, I just, like, and that line, I was like, what? What the fuck? That really just kind of was like,
People are crazy.
I get that. I get all of that. I just felt like watching these two movies, portraying what war can do to a person was done so much better in Apocalypse Now as opposed to this. And that's just how I feel.
You think in Apocalypse Now they're any less crazy?
No, I'm saying
I think they're way
I'm saying
crazier.
the depiction
We'll
of
talk
showing
about
them
it, I guess,
descending
when
into
we get
madness,
there.
Oh.
as opposed to these guys who are just like they get there and this guy's like, oh, fucking man,
They're like happy about it.
yeah,
And in
and
Apocalypse Now, there's scenes where he kills them and it's wrong. Then he lays down and screams because it's like, oh shit.
yeah,
I'm not going home normal.
yeah. I don't know. I just
I
wish.
think we'll agree to disagree on that.
Yeah, and we can, and that's
Yeah.
fine. And I don't. I called my cousin last night, and I was like, man, I was like, am I the only one? Like, I can't be the only one. And it just, I felt like his mess, the director's mess, what he was trying to get across, for me, it just, like, because showing, like, the boot camp scene and how powerful those first 45 minutes were, I just felt like it dwindled on the second and half.
It's definitely hard to follow the opening 30, 45 minutes of that.
Yeah,
But-
I'd have been happy if they ended it. Like, hey, that was a quick 45.
Right.
I'm good. That was awesome.
But the point of the movie after that is to show how affected. I mean, you saw how basically how they broke down East Marine and built them back up and turned them into soldiers.
Which you have to
do, which is the way they lead, and then it goes from there to what the war does to those people.
Yeah.
So you go from this elite Marine task force that or boot camp graduate to what you see after you've actually been in war. What happens in between is irrelevant. This is what war has done to those people. And the point of the movie is for him to the writer, to depict what actually happened.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to say that the war is going well. He doesn't want to say that things are great. He says that he wants to be a killer, but then when he gets the opportunity, he can't even pull the trigger. He fumbles.
Yeah, no, like
it's his buddy that saves him.
yes, and listen, whether or not the war we should have been there in the first place, or any, that's a whole nother conversation.
Sure.
My point was just that I think they painted the American soldiers to look like complete assholes, and again, I just think
it was
most of them were
too,
drafted.
like-
You know, I want to say most of those guys were drafted and didn't even want to go.
So I don't understand how that
They had a
doesn't.
draft for Vietnam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
It's
don't-
huge.
I was thinking about that in my
And
head.
that was the first war that was like, quote
Oh
unquote,
yeah, that's right.
televised.
Ali
You know,
got drafted.
all those reporters over there, so
Yep.
people were seeing all this stuff, and that's why.
Cassius Clay. That's
Yeah,
how
he got
became who
drafted.
he was.
And Jimi Hendrix too, right? He did some,
Right.
yeah. So anyway, look, I can't. What else can I say? You know, like otherwise we're just going to stand here. and go
I
back and forth
just
about
think
it.
those two are two different movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
The first half and the second half. Or this and the next.
Yeah, I think they're two different
Oh,
movies,
yeah.
and they show it. One is based on how, essentially, one shit. Help me with the movie names.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now are the soldiers that he's writing about in Full Metal Jacket. You just get to see how they become who they become, sort of.
Yeah.
Really, only one, and then the main character.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I did enjoy the harshness of the boot camp because it shows you what you're training them for. Like when they get over there, I mean, there's no real training for it, but
Yeah.
it's just, I tend to agree with Ben on this one. It just took like a super liberal approach, as if everyone over there was just slaughtering children, and that might have been the case. And if that was the case, sorry, like for doing that, but I don't know.
even their own people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vietnam is a crazy.
So is that dislikes?
Yeah, so we can jump into lines now, because we'll sit here and go back and forth all night long, and it's
I will
just,
say also this on
There-
the
there-
dislikes.
oh, you have
real
more?
quick.
Oh yeah, please.
I didn't like, and this is also 30 whatever years ago. They were real edgy with some of that dialogue,
Oh yeah.
to where it's just weird to hear now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I'm not saying it's their fault, and this movie was a classic, but Apocalypse Now said some stuff for sure, but not to this level.
I also thought it's okay to say, hey, these movies that were hailed as classics, like for the longest time, it's like, hey, some of them just don't hold up as well.
I
all
ain't
the
saying,
time.
yeah, I'm not saying
Yeah.
cancel it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
No,
like,
no. I
there's
just,
scenes where they do it, it just feels forced. It doesn't feel natural.
I think that was more about they're trying to shock you into like,
Or make you feel like soldiers are bad people.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. The drill. You mean the drill instructor? Like what he was saying to him, or other stuff?
Even when he was going to have sex with the
That in
he was gonna
particular,
have sex
that
with the-
line.
That first scene when they get there and she walks up,
And the
I
guy
was
says,
like,
This
I'm
might be
having
pure
sex.
Alabama black snake, but this ain't too goddamn buku.
oh, that too, yeah.
Well, it's,
That actually was like-
Look, so again, this was Vietnam. The shit was probably like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still like that now a lot of places. Go to Alabama. The world is still shitty. This was Vietnam. This is like one of the first real wars where we were really intermingled racially. So I'm sure the tension, the respect for one another was there, but the verbiage was still there.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I
Although
mean?
I appreciate
So-
like a nice Forrest Gump. Like carry me above an hour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I just in my head
And you saw that because when he goes out and gets shot, War Machine is the first person to run out there and try to save him.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the medic is, yes, but he goes against a direct order
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go out there and save them both. So it's not like,
No, sure.
you know what I mean? It's a mutual respect, but the way they talk is not. You know what I
course.
mean? There's still
Yeah.
there's
No,
some reality to it.
no, I know.
You don't put the words in there, the conversation in there. It doesn't seem real at all, especially being made in the 80s.
Yeah. I worked with a guy who was a Baltimore City firefighter for 30 years.
Right.
And we've had conversations where he's like, we all just said that shit to each other, and it wasn't a problem. That's just how we talked.
Right.
And I was like, okay, but like that doesn't like
This is a
You-
black guy or what?
white guy saying that this is how they all white, black, whatever they
Spanish,
all
yeah.
I
they
think
all
in the
just
next
talk
10
shit to
years,
each other.
it'll be taboo for black people to say as well.
Maybe, but it just I was like, maybe if that's how y'all got down, then whatever.
Right.
But it's not accepted anymore. One,
Right, I'm not
and
judging
two,
you. Yeah.
do you really think people were okay with it? Like you sitting here saying maybe they just thought, and who am I to say what
Right.
they thought? But like maybe the times were just like, well, I can't argue against this, so I'm just gonna roll with it. So who knows? But I've heard old guys say like, hey, we just, we all talked like that.
Sure.
And like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's jump into some quotes.
So my favorite one, and it's cynical, but again it describes the time and how crazy war made people and PTSD and all that. Mm-hmm. But when they're in the chopper and they're going to down range, I guess, the chopper gunner is shooting people in the field, women
and children, and almost men, exclusively,
and men. And they said. What does he say?
Joker says, "How can you shoot?"
Before that, he just says why he does it. He's like, you should do a story on me. I'm a bad man. I've got 157 kills and 51 buffalo. That was one of my favorite parts. But then after that, he goes, how could you shoot
He's
women?
Like, you're shooting women and children too?
He said, easy. You just don't lead them as much. And that line, I laughed hysterically the first time I heard that line, because the insanity in it is like, this guy is literally talking to these people who could potentially write a story about him.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great depiction of how war. I mean, first of all, you got to think people were drafted, so a percentage of those people shouldn't have been going to war and getting a weapon to begin with.
No.
So now you've got a bunch of crazy ass people, potential actual murderers going over there, and you give them weapons where there's no. Look, you're in a chopper,
and there's 18, 19, 20.
There's no repercussions for anything you do. Period.
And you don't think you're coming home?
No. What is that? What was the quote? How much? What was the amount of time that people had landed in Vietnam or something like that? It was like 14 seconds.
Remember that? No, it's from this movie.
No, it's from another movie, but it's about Vietnam.
No, I don't remember.
Like the average lifespan of people landing somewhere
14
is
seconds.
like 14 seconds.
It was crazy. And listen, to the point of like that line, as insanely like despicable as it is, they used like the Vietnamese army, the Viet Cong. That they used women and children as suicide bombers, man.
They showed it in the next movie.
Exactly. So it's like
the sniper was a female.
Yes. So it's just, but it's one of those things when you hear it, you're like, God, that's insane. I don't know.
That's my crazy line. I have a funny line too, but
I
save it for you.
That was one I wrote down, not as like a favorite line, but as a line that really stood out.
Right.
But one of my favorite lines is something that Gunnery Sergeant Harmon says. He's talking to what, but he just says, your rifle is only a tool. It is a hard heart that kills. I thought that was really good because that
you got a couple bangers in there.
Yeah, so many, and like it's just so insightful because it's like these guys, man, they're basically babies, man. I can't, and they're getting sent over to a foreign place, and him hardening them
and
up.
Got 13 weeks.
Yeah,
that's it.
As tough as he was, you had to be, and because there was nothing that could prepare them.
You grow up when you get there.
Yeah. So. Anyway, Chris?
I mean, there's so many classic lines.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is, "You look like the type that bangs someone in the ass and doesn't even give them a courtesy reach around."
You look like the kind of guy that fucks another man in the ass and doesn't even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
I think John might like that line also.
That's the line.
That's funny. That one's funny. That this is my ride.
You look like
this
you
is
could
my
suck
gun.
a golf ball through a garden hose.
That's a funny one. I mean, how many times have people said that kind of shit?
Yeah, that's from the movie too.
One Private Powell is trying to go over that post, and he's like, "God damn it, Powell! You look like 150 pounds of chewed bubble gum." That's one of my favorite. I forgot that completely till I just watched it. I was like, "Oh, I gotta put that."
Yeah, it's got some bangers, and I do agree. The first half is significantly better than the second.
It's really hard to top that first half. It'll be like Kevin Hart starting his show.
But so,
you know what I mean?
In my opinion, regardless of all of the extra stuff, regardless of the stuff that I looked at and went, I wouldn't have did that. I don't think this movie did enough story development.
No.
Like, I didn't know what they were training for when they started the movie. They were just in boot camp.
Oh, for the war. I mean, I thought that was.
Well, if you didn't know that, you just start the movie. They're at boot camp, and I've seen movies where it's just at boot camp. So I'm watching, I'm like, oh, this is a movie about guys in boot camp.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think the fat one is going to do a turnaround, and he's going to be the person for the story. Then they kill him, or whatever happens with him. He kills himself. And it transitions, and I'm like, so who's the main character then?
Right.
And it goes right to Joker, which is cool.
Yeah.
And Joker doesn't say that many funny things, but he it's
He's
just
kind of the first one
little.
though. With the "Are you John
Yeah, he
Wayne?
is.
Is this me?"
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was him dialoguing it in the beginning.
Oh,
So just a little more cohesion with the story might have helped it.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that, like, you see Private Pyle make this, like, crazy turnaround, and the moment that it happens is just like that. There's a name for what they do to him. I forget what they call that. Like, he just continues to screw up. I mean, day after day.
Sub in the sock.
Yeah. There's a name for there's a name for that. I can't remember what it is, but they basically, it got to the point where he just kept screwing up that the drill sergeant was like, "Look, man, I'm not going to punish you anymore. I'm punishing the entire group, and you're going to watch them pay." So that night, they all put a bar of soap in their socks, and I mean, they go to town on his ass while he's
Especially
asleep.
Joker.
Yeah, I mean, because he's the one that gets, put in charge of him.
Well, Joker's been training him. Yeah, he's platoon sergeant.
And at that moment, I think that's where they break him, really. And then he turns into an actual, like, something like clicked in his head.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but
Snaps.
like, and then he can do everything. And then, it ultimately ends with him killing the drill instructor and then killing himself. And
In his mind.
yeah, it just, that's very...
It's my least favorite part is that the drill instructor dies. I really wish he was in more of that movie.
Yeah, that was sad.
He could have killed himself, but I wish that the drill instructor was in more of it.
Yeah.
You got to see him downrange.
I think that's based on something that actually happened. I think.
I'm sure.
I'd have to do some research, but
I'm
I think.
sure.
Do you guys have any director's caps for this?
That was only. Honestly, that was it for me. I wish the drill instructor would have lived. I wish we could have got a little bit more of him.
Yeah, my director's hat would have been just a little more focused on the main character, whoever it was.
Yeah.
If it was going to be Joker, focus on him a little more, make him a little more funnier,
Yeah.
or not, whatever, and then that would have been good.
Right. The storyline that you kind of care about is Private Pyle's.
And it
So then,
just
like, once
disappeared.
that's over, like, you're like, well, shit.
I got no more character investment.
Yeah, and it's like, I kind of maybe would have liked to have seen what would have happened had what if he went over there and then went crazy? That would have made sense to me, or something like that.
And
I
then
don't know.
John would have had his drill instructor still.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I wish they would have shown more of the drug abuse that went on, because that does affect the way you make decisions. But I think they specifically didn't show it because they wanted us to be portrayed as bad guys.
Yeah.
And drug abuse can be a reason why you're doing bad things.
Yeah.
It also makes you look like a bad guy.
I also watched.
Drugs are recreation.
Yeah, heroin. Very recreational. Try it.
I also watched half of it already. Platoon, which is another Vietnam War movie, which I think is outstanding. But they really depict the drug use that the soldiers.
I think that's an important part
at the
of
beginning
this.
of that movie. Like they're at the camp where they're set up. Like, have you seen Platoon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so half of them
A
are
lot
like.
of major actors in that.
Oh, Johnny Depp is in that,
There's
dude.
a ton in that.
Yeah.
Well, you watch American Gangster,
Yeah.
and they go back to Vietnam. All the soldiers are high all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And
where heroin comes from.
They showed a lot of the sleeping with prostitutes, which was a big thing too. But like,
Yeah.
you're going to war at 19. Everyone you know is dying. You're
Yeah.
doing drugs and you're banging prostitutes, probably.
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah. You don't know.
I
If, you
would,
don't know
babe,
if
I
you're
love
making,
you.
you don't know if you're making it back, man. That's
And you're probably not. The
Yeah.
percentage of making it back is low,
Yeah.
especially with friendly fire.
Yeah.
How bad it was then.
So everybody was high.
You guys got some scores?
8-5.
Okay.
Oh man, where's
I was trying to.
I'm
I know what it says.
I'm like a 7-1.
Okay.
And I would be a lot lower if those first 45 minutes weren't so strong. I mean, but they are really, really strong. Here we go. Hold on, Chris. Here.
I don't know why I need it every time.
Here.
It's just the way
You're a
my
piece
brain
of shit.
works.
Oh shit! Of course I can't make it.
That's good. I gotta go 5-8.
Okay.
Wow.
It makes me so sad.
I will not say that this
That's
was
like
a good movie.
John was 8-5. You're 5-8.
It makes me so sad.
I will not say that this was a good movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't have finished it.
Really?
Yeah. I checked 3 times yesterday how much longer I had left.
I did that today.
Wait, you watched Apocalypse Now today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's funny. I did too. Well, I started it last night, and I was like, I felt myself getting tired.
Yep.
And then I was like, I gotta finish it. So the funny thing though is I had started before we even started talking about doing this. I had started Apocalypse Now on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
The long one.
At the Redux.
Yeah, it is a long one.
But I got about 30 to 45 minutes in, and most of it was similar.
It's very similar.
My cousin was telling me that there's like just this huge chunk in the middle that just doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Especially if you haven't seen.
I hope we don't talk about that.
I'm trying to think of what it was.
If you wait, that's the one you watched?
Yes.
Redux?
Yes.
Oh no!
No wonder you gave it a higher rating. You see more movie.
No, but so it's funny because he told when I was talking to my cousin Chaz, who comments and watches and everything. He and his father, who was a Vietnam veteran, they absolutely love Apocalypse Now. When it came out, I mean, they absolutely love it.
Well, that's what what's the name said. That's the most accurate depiction his uncle had ever seen. Shane said that.
Yeah, and then so they showed it to his youngest. He has 3 younger siblings. They showed it to the youngest one when the Redux came out. They were like, "Hey, let's go. There's 40 more minutes of movie. Let's go." And then they take Mike, the younger, and didn't like it. He hated it. Yeah. And it's like I feel like you need to see from what he says. He's like, watch the original first, and then if you like it, then watch the additional footage. But
I had VHS.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The first way I watched both these movies.
Okay.
It's so wild watching this movie, how much Charlie Sheen and
Martin Sheen.
No, Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez are like a perfect mix.
Oh.
Like he makes faces, and I'm like, oh, he looks like Emilio Estevez, and then he'll make a face and go, oh, he looks just like Charlie Sheen. But I mean, vice versa. They're his kids. But he's got some dominant genes because they carry through heavy in both of his sons.
You know what's funny? The average score is my score because of your guys' ratings. The average that we have is a 7.1. That's really funny.
Stupid.
You idiots.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys ready to jump into the next one?
Sure.
So,
I'm just kidding. I didn't hate it.
So here we go. Apocalypse Now, original version, Redux.
I wasn't paying for it.
I've seen them both. So
Yeah.
we'll comment on.
Yeah, came out.
Comment on it.
I hope my favorite line is from a scene that's in the Redux.
It came out in 1979. Rated R, 2 hours and 27 minutes, or 3 hours and
6
something minutes, depending on which version you watch. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola. He did The Godfather 1 and 2. Like that's what I think he's most known for. Written by him, another guy named John Milius, and it's based on a book called Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. So the book is about a guy who works for an ivory trading company, and they send him to Africa, and he goes on a steamboat trip down the Congo River to find a guy named Kurtz who's kind of gone a little crazy. So, but they're not military. Right. They're just they work for a private company. So what they did was they took this story and put it into Vietnam, which I thought kind of worked well. But I got to tell you, I didn't realize how familiar I was with this story because I played a video game in 2012 called Spec Ops: The Line. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Military game. Okay. And it's set in modern day Dubai after a disaster. Like a sandstorm has basically taken over and covered the city. And a guy gets sent on a mission to go find a captain who has kind of taken over the city. Right. And he's got it's almost identical
almost
to
like
the
they stole this.
Yeah, but
like the video game.
But dude,
stole the story.
It's based on a book, so people adapt it in different ways.
It's basically Jungle Cruise with The Rock.
I thought it worked so well as a video game, John. Like I'm telling you, man, it was one of the hardest games I ever played. Yeah. And when I tell you, when I finished that game, I was so proud of beating that thing. It was even just the bodies hanging, everything. It's like I basically already seen the movie. Yeah. So as it was happening, I was like, oh man, this is wild. But I still really enjoyed the movie. And it's about, they send a U.S. Army special ops guy, right? He's basically an assassin, but he's a captain. He's tasked with assassinating a renegade special forces colonel he basically sees himself as a god of all these people. He's deep in the heart of the Cambodian jungle. And it's set during the Vietnam War. Stars Martin Sheen as Captain Benjamin Willard. That's the guy that gets sent after Colonel Walter Kurtz, played by Marlon Brando. Robert Duvall is in it. Harrison Ford is in it. Dennis Hopper is in it. And a young Lawrence Fishburne. And R. Lee Ermey is in it. He's a helicopter pilot. Did you see him? The drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket. R. Lee Ermey.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's a helicopter. He's very brief, but and he looks totally different because it's almost 10 years prior to Full Metal Jacket. But when I saw him, I was like, oh, look at that guy.
Here's the guy.
Anyway.
I watched that first, so maybe if I watched Full Metal Jacket first, I'd recognize him.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
So anyway, what did you guys think of the movie?
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah?
Not to be too harsh on the other one, but this gives you, in my opinion, more of what the soldiers are going through. Like, honestly, I know it's perceived different ways, but this shows them as bad people, but it shows kind of why they're bad people. I know you could already guess it from what's going on in the other movie, but in this one, it's like guys that come right out of boot camp, they kill someone or they get into some stuff for the first time and they react harshly. And it also shows the main character go home. And it shows a little bit of what life is like for him at home after the war, which I thought was important.
That's part of the Redux. We don't get that in the
no?
We don't get that in the regular version.
It's in the very beginning where he's home and his wife leaves him.
Oh,
that's
no,
not it.
we don't get any of that.
That's not in this. The very beginning is him in his hotel
in
by
the hotel
himself.
room, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it is.
Yeah.
And he's talking, he's like, me and my wife are done. He burns a picture of her.
No.
That's the first scene.
I know, but that's not in the. That's not in the
Oh, well, so
it's probably in the original cut, but it's not in the original movie.
Chris off the break talking about stuff that we haven't seen.
I really like that. That's a good scene because it shows how hard it is for a soldier to come home.
Well, it also kind of shows you that this guy's already on the brink
Past
himself.
He's past it.
Yeah, I mean he's
pouring booze on himself and some more shit.
Did they show him punching stuff in the hotel room?
Punch the glass,
Yeah.
destroys the hotel room.
Yeah. So it shows how crazy you are when you're home too. He
wasn't
talk about how Charlie was getting tough in the bush and he's getting soft.
Yeah, but he wasn't even home, right? He was like
he's still in what did he say, Singapore? He's like I wake up and I realize I'm not home.
He's not at home. He's overseas somewhere.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just waiting for another mission, you know. And boy, did they give it to me. Yeah.
I do like that commentary too, the dialogue or the
his narration.
Narrating, yeah.
It felt so like old school film noir, right? Like I love the narration too, man. I thought it was great.
What I was gonna say is one of my favorite parts. It's like a book on tape, and you get to watch it a little bit because even I guess maybe part of it is he just has a good tone. Like I don't know, it's like this affected monotone. You know what I mean? Like you almost feel like it's him telling it during that time period.
Yeah.
They do a good job with the crazy in this. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of crazy, and they do a hell of a job when they get to the village at the end.
Martin Sheen was outstanding.
I agree.
I maybe saw one other movie of him when he was young. I mean, I can't think of anything else aside from The Departed that I can really remember him from.
Right.
But maybe Badlands. I think that was also early 70s. But he was so good in this movie, man. Robert Duvall, acting, I think, was...
He was awesome.
As the helicopter
he was so
pilot,
he was awesome.
Unbelievable. His obsession with surfing was just like, man, this guy's...
Lance Taylor's here?
Yeah.
This is a weird review.
He goes over and he's like, what's your name? I'm Lance Taylor. And the other guy goes, shh.
Yeah, wait a minute, what? Yeah. And then they go invade a beach that's completely held by Vietnamese forces so they can check out the surf
6'12".
And so I wasn't sure if that was in this movie. In my head, I was like, "Oh man," because that's like one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, mine too.
And I was just hoping y'all got it.
That's literally my favorite part of the movie is the fact that he's sitting there talking to him the night before, and they're talking about he's like, "Yeah, surfing out here sucks," and he's like, "Oh yeah, over there such and such has 6 foot swells," and he's like,
"Wait, I want to get to all that. Can I? That's my favorite line. Unless that's your favorite line.
I'm not gonna say any of the lines. No.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, that's fine.
I'm not gonna use a line.
My bad.
So then
the only line I have.
They decide to get up from there. They're like, it's really hot there, or whatever, and they decide to go take this beach because of the swells, and and that scene, like that whole. We'll just get into favorite parts, but that whole part just you can tell he's been downrange forever because he's there and people are going. You think we should go out there? If I said it, if it's safe to go out there and bombs are going off behind him and shit, he's like,
explosions, gunfire. He's just standing up. Yeah.
All he's worried about is the fact that he can see look out there, the waves are breaking both ways. Like, you can be two of you out there going like this. I was like, holy, this man is so. It's just
it's so good with crazy too.
Yeah, it's just so unaffected by war and insanity, the insanity of it. That I couldn't even imagine coming home from that.
Is one of your lines about his character?
It's
I just love
his character.
No, okay, so then I just loved how one of them, in the narration, he was like, "That's the guy is gonna make it home." Like, you just know it's just something about him. He's coming back.
He's like the girl on Deadpool, the
Yeah.
lucky one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody will get blown up around, and he'll just be sitting there with a surfboard.
I think that scene is longer in the Redux because we don't get to actually see them surf, but you do, right?
You do.
Yeah, I did see him surf.
You do see him
in the
surf.
original?
You do see him surf.
Oh, maybe I just looked down or something.
Because there's bombs going off out in the ocean.
While they're
They're getting shot at, looking at
I
You
maybe I
literally
was just
see him on the
confused.
surfboards
Okay.
going both ways on the wave as a bomb hit there, and they both jump off.
Oh, okay. I must have looked down or something.
That's when he goes and rips his shirt off.
Oh, okay.
He's like,
Okay,
you think it's not safe? I'll go out there right now.
Yeah, okay.
And then that's when he calls in for the napalm strike.
Okay. Yeah.
Another thing about this movie that I really enjoyed, specifically around the character, is that when he shows up for the first part, he shows a bunch of dead soldiers. He's just throwing his card on them. And it's like, I'm an asshole. I'm leaving my mark. This is me.
Yeah.
And then he gets over to a guy and he does something harsh. Then he shows up to this woman that's wounded. She's about to die. And they're like, get a medic and save this woman's life. So it shows the crazy. It shows all the mean and terrible things he'll do. But he's also got some compassion still for the helpless and the innocent. Which, it may not have been like that for everyone. But it's good to see that, okay, I can get behind a little bit of what's going on out there. It made me feel sorry for the soldiers. Full Metal Jacket made me feel sorry for the Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for both because the wars are just stupid, but
it sucks.
I don't even know why we went to
Vietnam. You didn't feel sorry for the Vietnamese as they were going up that river and just shooting them?
No, I did.
Oh, yeah, for sure,
I did.
dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
You always feel sorry for the Vietnamese, but I also had some compassion for what the soldiers had to go through, too.
They'll say there were many reasons why we went to Vietnam and involved ourselves, but I think the primary reason is Trump definitely.
Trump and Biden got together on that. They decided to go to war together.
Biden was like 55 during Vietnam.
I think it was they were trying to stop the spread of communism. Like, I think the North Vietnamese were communists, South Vietnamese were not.
They were invading South Korea. South Vietnam.
What was help you? I forget. And then I think China had taken over. I don't know all the history off top, but that. I think the main reason they got involved was everybody's terrified of communism, and that's why they went. And that's it is you can look up.
It is what it is.
Yeah. We're not here to talk about that, right? We're going to continue to talk about this movie. Did we get all the likes?
Yeah. Most of mine, yeah.
I
like the just a little nuance when they were getting the mail on the boat. And he got the newspaper, and it was talking about Charles Manson.
Yes.
That was a cool little touch that they threw in.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I really like that.
But where did the mail come from? Out of nowhere, they just had this package.
Well, no, because they just left or came from
a base, right?
Yeah, not the base. They came from that where they stopped to get ammo and stuff. They couldn't get diesel and
he comes
they
out.
Had the show.
Yeah.
They did
that
the show
was
there.
wild.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Oh, they did do
all of
stuff
that,
like that.
A lot of that is loosely based on what was really going on there. That bridge or whatever that they hold at the end, that was a real bridge.
And
before they go into
But yeah, I just remember thinking when they started handing out mail, it's like, where the hell did you just get all that mail? But okay,
that
good.
writing scene where he got a letter from his mom. Because back in the day, maybe she couldn't write. Maybe she wasn't literate, so she recorded a tape.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Yeah, that was great.
And then he started playing it, got killed, and everyone on the boat had to listen to the stuff his mom was saying to him while he's dead. Yeah. And I'm just like,
you're gonna be a great dad, yada yada, when you come back.
What good directing?
Yeah.
And
that was well timed.
They show a lot of the fighting between the people on the boat, but at the end of the day, they're still soldiers. They hate each other.
Yeah,
they hate each other, but they're like, I got you and I got you.
Yeah. So dislikes, John?
I thought it was a little long, in my opinion. I think that some of the downtime between the scenes are slow.
Johnny got extra 45 minutes. Okay.
The character build is good, but I just think there's a lot of castaway for me. Like, there's a lot of time where there's nobody talking, and it's just Sheen going. You just see like part of his eye or floating into this. I'm like, fuck, cut that out. Just cut. There's 20 minutes of just facial expressions. Like, get that shit out of there. Okay. I don't need to see it.
How long is this movie?
That's ours is 240.
Okay. Ours 2 hours and 27.
227.
Make it two.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been 2 hours and 27 minutes. I'm just saying different fillers there.
Sure.
Because
I got to see.
I like his monologue. I do. Maybe yeah. Switch him out. I like his monologue. I like when he's talking, but like there's a whole lot of him just staring and fading in and out of scenes. Like you really could. I know it gets it's some of the build of just the pure insanity of every action sequence between those is nuts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And they get a little bit. You think the beach scene is going to be crazy, and then they get to that little They get to the little village where they're just shooting the fake arrows, and you think it's going to, it's just like there are a lot of real tense moments in between each. But like I think that some of the downtime between, that's why I said it feels slow to me because I will immediately lose my attention with shit like that. No doubt. If it's quiet, I'm like,
what's that Warzone?
Yeah. Chris?
That's it for me.
There's like I agree that it was long. Mine was especially long. It grabbed me though, man. I gotta say, I did not expect to like this movie. I don't really like war movies that much, and it grabbed me, and I just tried to go through it, and like it made me think of my uncle, which I haven't done war wise in years. Yeah.
This is a lot less war, a lot more psychological side.
Right, and he can't sleep sometimes at night. He gets those
PTSD
or
PTSD
dreams. Stuff. Yeah. So I don't even consider it. And then this movie came out, and I'm like, damn, that's what they had to go through.
It was crazy, man. I didn't really like that one of the scenes on that scene on the boat. Like where they stopped that other boat, and
to search it.
Yeah, and Martin Sheen's like, hey, that's not the mission. Let them go. Like we're, and he's like, no, this is my when you're on my boat. Right. So they stopped this boat, and they just they're searching this boat because I guess some of the they're disguised people and they transport things, weapons, all that stuff. They stop and they search this boat, and this woman is like sitting on something. It's like a couple guys and a woman, right? And they they pull her out of this like back area. They go to search it. She kind of runs back towards it, and the guy on the 50 cal, just
Fishburne.
Yeah, it just unloads on these people. And it was just like, it was so, like, one, your guy is on that, on the boat.
Barely doesn't shoot that guy.
Yeah, and he just rips these people to shreds. And it is the horrors of war, right?
And they all continue to do it.
I honestly like that.
Yeah, well, it just...
Because nobody wanted to. They're holding it. They're like, all right, chill, everything's fine, everything's good. But as soon as this man starts shooting, they start popping.
Well, it was like... I think for me, it was more of the overdoneness of it. Where he's like...
It could have been acted better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like all over the place. And I was like...
You're a gun guy.
I
remember...
I'm sure they told him, lean into it. But it just felt really...
It's in the Matrix, Lawrence. Get it together.
And it sucked because then it turns out that she was protecting like a little puppy.
Looked just like my dog, my new dog.
And it was real. The icing on the cake for that scene, which I like the scene. It was I think the actions, but like the woman is still kind of breathing at the end, and they're thinking about like maybe what
that was
do.
my favorite part of the scene.
And then Martin Sheen's just like,
that's my hands down my favorite
part
of
of
that
him
whole
like
entire scene. Right.
And like he's the asshole. Yes.
And he goes, "I told you not to stop."
Yeah.
I love that part of that scene. I was like, that is intense.
Because he's like,
you knew he was shooting that girl.
No witness.
Right.
No witnesses, man.
Well, also, we don't have time to be taking her ass to someplace to get her. Get her back out of here.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to this guy. You guys have no idea how. I'm telling you, the scene. This is important.
Yeah.
You stopped. You shouldn't have stopped. Now you killed a bunch of civilians.
Yeah.
Again, this is like
shows you how war can happen.
So. Did I do it? Did I do my dislike already? I did.
You did. It's too long.
I don't. The other thing that I have written down is I don't. It's probably true, but I don't like how much they both movies showed how terrible soldiers were to civilians. Both movies are adamant about depicting that about U.S. soldiers.
True.
I'm not saying that it's not true.
No, I agree.
I'm just saying that I don't know if that was the point of both movies, but I know that they go out of their way with the chopper gunner in the one, hit him here, even when they're in the village and they're landing. Like, I know some of, like, you assume when they first land in the village, when they take the village to go surfing, you assume that some of those people are soldiers and some of them aren't. And you almost feel bad for some of the civilians, like to get the kids out of there when they first get there. But then that lady runs out with the grenade and blows up the medevac chopper. So it's like they're already predisposed to that lady.
What the hell are you supposed to do?
I mean, I don't know if those guys, I can't remember that scene exactly, but I mean, if I was Lawrence Fishburne on the boat, I just saw a lady run up with a grenade and kill a bunch of wounded soldiers, including a helicopter. This lady could be doing the same shit. So I'm not mad at him for shooting her. She should have stayed put. As a puppy, he wasn't going to take the dog.
I have to reiterate, it's more of the action.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because he did it more than once,
too.
He's spraying into
the
terrible.
Wood.
Yeah.
The wood scene was he's horrible on a gun.
Yeah. Get this guy. That's why you're not hitting it. Get this guy off the gun.
Who gave him that weapon?
Yeah.
When they shoot the arrows at
Sam.
It's like he took the machine gun and kill shot.
Yeah. That was really kind of like my really only gripe, I think, was like some of the...
Another thing I wanted... You guys might not have this scene. Do you guys have a scene where they stop at the French compound?
I don't think so.
And there's a sex scene between...
No.
Yeah, that scene didn't make no sense to me.
No.
That's what my cousin watched what they're talking about.
No.
Yeah.
So he stops at this French compound. It's just like a big... They argue about France losing all of its wars.
No.
And that's why they're staying.
Okay.
No.
It didn't, that part
They
didn't
were
make any
involved
sense
before
to me.
us. French were, yeah.
There was whatever. So that part didn't make any sense. I'm glad that didn't in the original. And then this actually isn't a dislike, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right.
It's all right. I wonder if they cut that out in the final cut, right? Because they have the original version, which is 2 hours and 27 minutes. They have the Redux, which is 3 hours and 30, whatever it is. And now there's a final cut.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours and 1 minute. So they kind of met in the middle there. So I'm wondering. Well, I almost want to watch all three and see which one flows the best.
I may watch the other one again, like on a day that I'm not so tired.
Yeah.
I was kind of tired today.
And Warzone did just release a new map.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. So lines. Got favorite lines?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll go real quick
first,
because I don't have lines a lot. My favorite line is the preference is surf scene. So just to get the whole thing set up, and he's sitting there and he's like, "We're not taking you to the base of that river. Charlie's all over that river." And he said they have 6 foot swells, and someone just yells in the background, "It's like 6 foot swells. We love surfing. We gotta get down there. Let's just go down there." And he goes, Colonel, I don't know about that. There's a Charlie everywhere." And he goes, 6 foot swells, we'll go over the hell we want. And he goes, "No, I hear you, but like there's a lot of Charlie down there." And he goes, "Hey, Charlie don't surf." And that's just like my favorite line.
He was great, man.
Because he had just been introduced, really, and then he hits him with the Charlie don't surf.
I had
everyone there.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie, and I finally heard everybody always says, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning." Like I finally heard that line in the context of the movie. That's not mine. He had some good ones though. So John, I'll let you.
You want me to go?
Yeah, please.
Around that same time period, they're talking about how his camp was or how his base was, and he's like, he got a real nice setup here. He's bringing in all this stuff, his food, doing grill, cookout, stuff like that. And he said, Captain Bullard says, the more they tried to make it just like home, the more they made everybody miss it, which is probably extremely true.
I mean,
you want to be separated. I think you would want to be separated because you start making me remember home and forgetting that I'm at war. I lose some of the that blank, my ability to just I get what's the word I'm looking for, but your ability to just forget every, you know what I mean?
Focus on the mission.
You start thinking about home. It'll make you hate where you are more, not want to jump out of the chopper, not want to fire a gun, hide in the woods, that kind of thing. Because you have something to go back to. But the closer, the further you are from reality, the more more naive you can be, I guess.
Yeah. Mine is something that Captain Willard says. Martin Sheen. The whole thing, right, is that the Army is charging Colonel Kurtz with murder, right? Because he's basically going off mission and he started assassinating people that weren't official missions and blah blah blah. But I think it's one of those internal monologue scenes, like the narration. And he's saying something about they're charging him with murder. Blah, blah. He's like, but charging a man with murder in this place is like giving out speeding tickets at the Indy 500.
Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
a good line.
Ooh, Man, because how can you, like, we talked about this before,
Right.
either here or over there, but, like, the difference between killing and murder in war is, like, it's
Right.
different, man. And I just thought that line was incredible.
And he it's funny because, you know, the more and more we do these, the more and more we see these villains,
Yeah.
the more and more rational they are, honestly. I mean, he talks about the first off-mission mission that he goes on, he kills two generals and a female, and all the violence stops. He's like, was he really so wrong for what he did there?
Yeah.
You know, like as he's reading, he's like, this guy was trained to be a general or a major or something like that. He's like first in his class, graduated this, went to Harvard. Like he's you know, glorifying the guy, honestly. And again,
Yes.
it's like a Thanos or
Yeah,
like the Joker. You know, it's like there's a lot of he makes he made a lot of good points. He's making a lot even all the way to the end where he tells him to bomb the village. Like he makes a lot of strides in the direction to do what's best for America. Now, how he gets there, and that could be a product of they made this guy.
Yeah,
He's a super soldier. He just became. They took him to here. And they said, don't, like in Sicario, we're going to take you right here. Don't cross that line. But everything that you want is across that line.
Right.
Everything that we want from him, from that character, is across that line. And then when he crosses, it's like, man, we can't be responsible for this guy.
Yeah.
So let's let him keep killing for a while until people maybe find out about him. Then we got to go over there and do something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was a very interesting character. I loved Martin Sheen's like obsession with he wanted to meet him first before like everything. He was
he does.
Like learning everything about him through all the dossiers and everything, and then the fact that he did like he basically could have wrote his own ticket in the army, and he chose after he came back from tours of Vietnam to enlist in the Green Berets, and they kept turning him down. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to retire then. So they let him go through the Green Berets.
Yeah, Green Berets.
Yeah,
because once you do that, you can't. That you are
can't go past a colonel.
Yeah, you're as high as you can go.
I thought it was airborne.
No, he's Green Beret.
Green Beret.
That's the Army's special forces.
Okay.
Green Berets. And like he was 38 at the time. They were like, you know, that's unheard of. Everybody else in his class was half his age.
You're talking. He was in the Air Force and he graduated top of his class. This is after the fact. This was later.
Not
on.
Air Force, the Airborne Division. I think it's Army.
Air Cav. That was the
106th Airborne.
Oh, is that what it was?
Well, so it was Army Air Corps were turned into the Air Force a little bit before that.
I have no idea. Yeah. My uncle was airborne. That's when I heard it in the movie, I was like,
all right. Well, let's score this puppy.
hold on.
Oh, director's hat. Shit. Got to skip right over it.
You got one?
Not really. I will say I did like this movie enough that I am going to watch the extended version.
I want to say two things before you get into that. How weird was it seeing Marlon Brando as not the Godfather?
I don't think I've
seen a big
seen
actor before that, but this is the only other movie I've seen.
It was weird.
Me too.
It was weird seeing him in this and not having that face and
With the
expression.
shaved
Yeah,
head.
dude. Yeah, totally different guy. And
When they showed the pictures of him as like a young guy, I was like, oh wow, look at this guy, man! Like,
He was a hard
did you
guy.
see? Do you remember the bull scene at the end, the sacrifice?
brutal.
Okay, that's real.
That was a real bull.
That's a real scene. So
Nah,
I
really?
swear to God, when they're filming,
I thought that was fake as
That's a
shit.
little thing that I read. No,
It looked
it's,
real.
It's a real bull. So when they're filming this movie, they find this group of forgotten indigenous people, and they ask them if they could film this sacrifice. So they filmed that actual scene. That's an actual village in Cambodia where they filmed the sacrifice of this bull.
It looked real.
Oh, it's real.
I didn't see the disclaimer that no animals were hurt in making of this product.
You know what's funny? I had no end credits. The movie just ended
Yeah,
and it was over.
Mine too.
Yeah,
That's
I was
it.
like,
It was getting ready to play something else.
He
Yeah.
just pops up, get the fuck out of
And
here.
I rented mine, so there's definitely should have been credits, but no, went right into another movie.
yeah.
That's just something that I read on.
That's
there's something
awesome,
I read
John.
online.
Because I'm
I
sitting
gotta
there.
rewatch. When this is over, we're rewatching that sacrifice scene because I thought it looked fake as
I have it
hell.
upstairs.
As I was watching it, I was like, holy shit! This looks like it actually happened.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Director's hat.
Are you good?
Yeah.
For me, honestly, I wanted more out of Marlon Brando's character. I wanted to be able to relate to him the way Martin Sheen thought he was going to. Like, I thought I was going to get there, and yeah, maybe they're crazy indigenous people, but they spent more time focused on, like, a philosophical version of who he is. Because you immediately get, oh, this dude's just crazy. Like, he gets up. The whole build-up for me was Martin Sheen gets to him finally, and he goes, I got to decide whether I want to kill this guy or not. And I have a lot of sympathy for him. If he would have got there and then that sympathy kept playing on each other, like, oh, he isn't actually that crazy. He is making a lot of sense like I thought he would. Then Martin Sheen stuck with the decision to kill him or not. But when he first shows up, it's like, oh, easy decision. I'm killing this fucking psycho.
Yeah.
I wish it was just a little more of Marlon Brando making more sense.
So even in their long version, you didn't get a lot?
I got some, but
Okay.
not enough. Like, he started off good, he imprisoned him, he killed his boy, dropped his head in his lap.
That was wild.
So I thought he was going to try to break him with that and bring him to.
Yeah, like manipulate him,
Yes,
which
yes.
is okay. But
I'm sorry.
Oh, he wound up doing it. I just wish personally that he would have did it in a.
He wound up doing what?
Like Thanos way. Like he wound up trying to manipulate him.
I thought. Well, he
like
didn't bring him in though.
No, the surfer guy though. Surfer guy was right in there, face painted. Like he was.
That guy never came back from the acid.
I love the surfer guy.
He did the acid, and that was it for him.
I don't need that. I'm just going to agree with you. I think I could go for some extended scenes with Marlon Brando.
Just a little more. I wish it was more of a Thanos than a psycho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is what they're doing. They're killing the world. We've done too much bad.
I did love that he grabbed his manuscript and like took that with him.
Yes.
You know.
So that's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. It's like a unfinished climax. Like it's like blue balled me right there because he doesn't turn him. Mm-hmm. He makes a decision. I thought the head on his lap thing, and then slowly releasing him, showing him that like I am kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I thought eventually he was going to see because you get some of that perspective early on when he's like, this guy can't be completely wrong with what he's doing, and he can kind of see, especially when he reads the Bound the Village thing in the manuscript. Like, I thought that when he comes out of there, he was going to go, okay, this is my town now. So I'm not as crazy as he was. Mm-hmm. Maybe I could run this better and be a little more, I guess, a little more pro-USA or pro-America or not, not so sadistic or, that's not what I'm looking for.
I mean, it was
not so evil with. I mean, still, what's good for the goose is good for the gander there. But I thought when he came out of there, because you really get no ending. Like he comes out of there, he kills him, takes the manuscript, and then they do another one of those things where there's no words and it's just his face fading in and out of shit, fading into a statue. Like he fades into this. They show. This is what gets me. Is like they show the statue, which was in the village, and they show the choppers, and I thought by his face fading to the statue instead of America, that meant he was going to stay and run the village. But you don't get that. It was like he made a decision at the very
end. How did he die in this movie?
Who died?
Marlon Brando.
He comes up, stabs the shit out of him.
Yeah, Martin Sheen kills him with a
scythe.
And he grabs his surfer boy and gets on the boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm glad he didn't end up staying to run the village. I like the way
I wish he would have dropped the bomb on it if he didn't go that way.
I also wish the photographer didn't lay it on so thick how crazy he
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, if he would have just
he was the one that was definitely manipulated.
Yeah. I wish it would have just been like, I believe in him, he's an awesome guy, and then that was it. Not he yells at me, he's the man, he's like a god.
And the first assassin they sent after him. I thought that was a nice little twist, too. Like, they were like, we sent somebody after him, got killed, blah, blah, blah. Like, midway through the movie, you're like, oh, no, he's there. Yeah. So he bought into the bullshit. So if Martin Sheen had bought, I'd have been like, oh, that kind of sucks. You know, like, I like the way it ended a lot. So, yeah, let's score this puppy. I'm going to go 8-4. I'll go first. I'll go 8-4.
7-9.
Oh, shoot. Where's the picture? There it is. So 8-4, 7-9 for John Boy.
Shit.
Shucks.
I was going to go 7-9 or 8-1.
I'm smarter than you.
I'm going to go 8-1. I'll definitely watch it again.
I'm for sure watching it again because I want to watch the extended version now.
Good suggestion, Shane. I thought this was a great movie.
Yeah, man. Well, all right, boys. Scores are locked in there. Two bangers. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the results are. I'll put the
verses out.
The verses up. I'll let this marinate maybe a day or two because we just put the pick'em for the
Full Metal
donuts
Jacket
up.
wins though because
Do you think so?
It's got so much more name recognition.
It was that scene was they filmed what's his name Coppola the director yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it says the animal was killed but not for the film. The tribe in the film was a real indigenous tribe that lived in the area and had already decided to slaughter it. Coppola merely decided to film the event. It's a natural thing in the Philippines, and it's not illegal, but they got a lot of backlash for it.
I bet they did.
Yeah, big deal.
Based on our scores,
I mean,
Apocalypse Now wins 8.1 over 7.1.
Oh. Hey, Giants went a lot higher than I thought you were going.
Me too. Based on what Chris said before you came down, I was like, ooh.
I just said I don't like it as much.
Gotcha.
I mean, I like the movie. Honestly, when it started, I probably would. I had 7.5 here, but my rating went up a little bit.
After talking?
Yeah, and I've done that plenty of times.
Of course, I don't have my rating locked. That's why I wait.
Yeah.
Well, I have it as I watch the movie, but I like as we're going, and I've lowered my rating on here before as well.
I do want to ask: do you guys, when you're actually rating the movie, look at the score sheet before you do it?
No.
I kind of know what it is.
Every time I do.
I don't need to look at the score sheet because there's movies that I remember that are in do I put this up near 13 hours? No.
Oh yeah, sometimes I'll look at our previous
other
ratings
movies.
to see kind of where I put other things. Like,
I don't do that either.
but I kind of know what the scores mean at this point. No, they're on the Google Drive. You have access to them, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Do you guys want to do a shot or no? No. Okay, so next week it's gonna be, I want to say maybe a week and a half between this episode and the next one because I'm going away this week.
Where you going?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Nice.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Get some whiskey.
I probably might. If I can get a nice little bottle, throw in the check luggage, bring it back for us, you know. But we are going to review Nightmare Alley. It's going to be it comes out the day I come back, the 17th. So we're going to try to see it that weekend, and then do the review within a couple days before these guys go on a trip too. And then that'll come out the week of Christmas. And then we're just going to take, from then, we're going to take like a week and some change off for the holidays. And then we'll be back in the new year. Yeah. And we'll start talking about the next movie awards and all that stuff. Yeah.
Shooting from authentic places.
We will hopefully have a special guest on the next episode.
Yeah, Wilson will be on the next episode.
Yep, so that's exciting.
He's a volleyball.
Whatever it was.
We're reviewing Castaway.
If he has to work, we will be doing that.
But yes, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think of the movies. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the page and the YouTube channel.
Suggest a video.
Suggest a movie, suggest anything.
And a show, anything.
Yeah.
No,
we're going to talk about
We got to find a show that's coming out.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Real talk for real movies, yeah, we'll listen. Real life on real hype, you feel different. Underrated, appreciated, or barely made it. You let us know at Law Bay, yeah, you really hate it. And Christmas like in the past, he got it going better. And like Jess, it didn't show up and we don't let her. It's real talk, no theoretical, though it ain't invisible, man. It's so dependable, damn. You can't see him if it's dark or bright. Ask Chris with his Miller Lite. Or Blockbuster, it's so good, right? Candyman or Tony Dodd or Holy God. I mean the devil all the time, or release the lie. Apocalypto, go against the grain like your boy Adam, who drink Jack like Jungle Ann and Nick Mullins. Educators, tell us what you know about him. Is it bad or good like Peanut Butter Falcon? Special guests like Danny D and Dave Arnold. Let us look to the future, event horizon. In real life, the movie will never stop. Till it does, we drop and there's no getting up. Until then, subscribe and they let you know the tops. Only way to know for sure is to watch. So shut up and drink your pops, your soda and corn pops. And listen to the real life movie talk. I'm isolated like the lady in black. And I seek revenge for these movies that whack.
Can you hold that?
Yep.
Thank you.
Alright, my piece.
Have you ever had an Asiago bagel from there?
I've only ever had the cinnamon crunch because I can't knock it.
They're so
Yeah,
good.
well, I was gonna get the
With honey
Asiago.
walnut fucking.
I didn't know that was a cream cheese, but I'll be trying that.
Oh
next
my
time.
god, the honey walnut cream cheese with that is so.
I'll be
fucking
trying
good.
that next time.
You gotta get them to run it twice and get the honey walnut.
I
cream
always get my bagel toasted twice. One toast just isn't enough.
It's not enough.
And can I tell you one of the many reasons why I hate Starbucks?
cheese. Please.
The first time I think I ever went there, second time, I don't know. I don't drink coffee, so I went there for like a snack.
Yeah.
They had bagels in the display case.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just get that bagel toasted with cream cheese? They were like, we don't toast our bagels. I was like,
Who said that?
it's fucking Starbucks.
Arrogant fucks.
Bougie ass Starbucks.
Who the fuck wants a cold bagel? It's in a chilled cooler. What are we doing?
Never.
Yeah, fuck Starbucks, man. Bombs.
Like, give me a lukewarm coffee.
Yeah. And their hot chocolate sucks because they make it with dark chocolate. That's not what I want for hot chocolate. Milk, please.
I'm not a Starbucks fan at all.
No, fuck them.
I will, in dire need, get the nitro ice, the cold nitro coffee with a shot of espresso, because that motherfucker will get you going. When I was working nights, there was one day a week I would stop by this Barnes and Nobles to try to find these packs of cards that they bring in there once a week, and there's a Starbucks right next to it. And every Wednesday night I would go there and I would and fucking zing every time. There's a little young kid in there, because I'm going to work at night. And I walk in there, kid. I was like, I need a nitro brew coffee with extra espresso. He's like, oh man, it's 9 o'clock. I was like, yeah, I'm going into work. He was like, oh shit, you could be fine tonight. I was like, oh, we'll see about that.
What name should I put on this, please? And is there an H or no in that name?
Big Dizzle.